One thing many of you may not know about me is my deep interest in gaming setups. From PC to console, I love setups, from super advanced to comfy and homey vibes. Lately, I've been watching setup videos from Asmongold and Linus Tech Tips, where they review their followers' setups, and it got me thinking, what does the average GTA Tryhard setup look like? We all play different areas with different styles, yet all share the same love for PvP on this dying game. So I made a post on my Instagram, which you should be following by the way, asking my followers to send in their setup with no requirements. So the setups we're going to be looking over today could be totally random, from PCs to consoles, from desks to TVs. I was curious to see how much money and effort do GTA tryhards put into their gaming setups compared to casual players. So in this video, we're going to find out. Also, my setup's not in here because I'd be biased. So yeah. So first we're starting off with Eric. He's a bass player, and off rip, I gotta say, this setup is valid. I love the red Japanese style theme with the cherry blossom mouse pad and the Kame ga Kill wallpapers, which I'm assuming is wallpaper engine. You also have the super clean setup with the microphone arm, with the Blue Yeti mic and the Razer mouse, all perfectly the same color red. The RGB on the keyboard matches perfectly with the wallpaper. I love the inside of your PC. Now, you didn't show the inside of your PC, but I could still see the RGB fans on the back. Super clean, really nice. I don't know where your console is, but overall, this setup is really, really fire. But I do have a couple nitpicks. First off, why do you have two keyboards? When I was looking over this, I was like, dude, is that a second keyboard? Now, I might be wrong. Maybe it's like a Stream Deck or something. But from what it looks like, you have two keyboards. And your cable management could be a little bit better. But, you know, I'm not really the one to talk because my cable management's not all that great either. And I know you're probably planning on mounting the monitor, so I'm not even going to mention that because, you know, if you're running a dual or triple monitor setup, you usually do end up mounting it eventually. But overall, sick setup, super clean, really valid. If I were to give this a rating, I would probably give it a 7 out of 10. It's pretty good. He also sent this video here with, for some reason, different wallpapers if you guys want like a more in-depth look of his setup. So yeah, super clean. Let's move on to the next one. So we have Jose next. He's a run and gun / versatility player. And all right, I got something to tell y'all. It's a secret. I used to be a big Dragon Ball hater back in the day, but I've been recently watching it and now seeing this setup. It's pretty fire, okay? This is so clean. The Goku and Vegeta wallpaper with the side mount monitor, the RGB lighting is super clean. If you look in his PC, he has Goku figurines in there with Dragon Ball stickers. This is a full Dragon Ball setup. This is crazy. It looks like you're about to go Super Saiyan on the game. It's so sick. However, what are these? I'm going to assume that you were like 16 or something when you got these Supreme stickers and thought it was cool enough to put on your PC. It's really tacky, Jose. You should look into getting those removed. But if that's your style, I'm not here to judge. It reminds me of this dude right here. For any of you that remember Supreme Patty. But yeah, super clean, nice Dragon Ball setup. The Funko Pops are pretty cool. And you got my favorite movie down there on the floor, Scarface. That's my favorite movie. But I do gotta say that the Scarface poster doesn't really fit with your whole Dragon Ball theme setup. I don't know. Maybe I just have a weird way of looking at setups. I do feel like your setup should fit a certain theme. And when it deviates from it, it might feel a bit more homey, but it also just looks a bit more odd. So overall, really nice setup. There are some things that I dislike, but everyone has their own tastes. Nice. I'm gonna give this one also probably a 7 out of 10. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Next up, we have Ops, or Ableated. This is actually my crew member, funny enough, and he's a city player. Now, I'm gonna try not to be biased because I see that you have the Cyberpunk Edge Runners wallpaper on your laptop. I feel like you put that as your wallpaper just to get extra brownie points off of me because you know that Cyberpunk is my favorite fictional universe and Cyberpunk Edge Runners is one of my top 3 favorite animes. So I'm not letting you play into my bias. I'm gonna give you an honest rating on your setup. Nice try though, Ops. So this setup is very simplistic and minimal, which can be nice. Not every setup needs to be decked out in RGB and LEDs for them to be, you know, good setups. You don't need a super pricey fancy PC, and you can definitely tell that he takes care of his setup. But I do have a couple of nitpicks. Like, first off, where's your mouse pad? Do you just use a mouse with no mouse pad? Because that's kind of weird. Second, this is a pro tip. Maybe this is something that you just didn't know, but for your mouse, how it's glowing bright green like that, that's a Razer mouse, I can tell. You could actually download the software from Razer to change the color of that mouse to match the wallpaper for your laptop. Obviously, that's just a suggestion from me, so you know your theme would actually be a theme because you got a green mouse with a white console with a black monitor and then blue wallpapers. Everything's kind of all over the place, but still super simplistic. I wish you had some curtains on those windows. I also find it a little strange that you only have 4 applications on that laptop. Like, does that laptop just sit there and collect dust and you decided to turn it on for this video? I don't know. But it's kind of odd that you literally have 4 apps in total on that laptop. My PC is littered with apps, but you know, the cable management could also use a bit of work. But there's really not much to comment on here. I'll give you a 5 out of 10. 5, by the way, guys, is not bad. 5 is just in the middle. It's just mediocre. So don't think that if I give you a 5 or a 6, 7, whatever, you know, my ratings are based in what the actual number is. So 5 out of 10, very mediocre, not bad, could use some work, but you know, it's decent. All right, Chief, we gotta have a talk, bruh, because this wallpaper that you got is not it at all. Next up, we have Snipser, and he's a beach player, and I think it was kind of obvious from the wallpaper on that side mount monitor alone. You gotta be a beach player from like 2018 to 2019 to think that having half-naked Tumblr girls as your wallpaper is still cool in 2023. But how is the actual setup itself? I'm gonna try not to pay attention to it because that is like, bro, you really have the most GTA setup in this whole video. I just want to let you know this now, bruh. So congratulations, you're the most GTA player in the community. Now, as goofy as this setup is with that wallpaper, I actually do like this setup. So there are a couple things that I'm going to nitpick first, like the fact that once again you have 2 keyboards. I'm going to assume that one maybe is for your PC and one is for console gaming, so I won't go hard on you for that. Your microphone could definitely use an arm because right now you just have it on the desk, which, you know, it's I mean, that's not the worst way to go about it, but a microphone arm would be better. I do notice that you have a Logitech mouse, valid, super fire. Everything from Logitech is fire, not sponsored by the way, but Logitech is such a good brand that like almost everything in my setup will probably eventually end up being Logitech because all their stuff is so reliable. I am concerned though on why you have one keyboard set to rainbow, one keyboard set to purple, and then your PC is red. And then not only the 2, but the outer shell of your PC is black and your mouse is white. You once again have like a whole color rainbow going on here like Ops did. I would recommend changing all of it obviously to match your PC theme, which is red, which by the way, nice PC build. It looks good. I mean, I can't see it that well, but from what I can see in the picture, it looks very well done. Overall, this is a pretty nice setup. I do like it. I like the side mount monitor, probably for stream chat and Discord. I like that you have a microphone. You should probably work on getting that kink out of your Logitech wire because I see it wrapped up like that. That's really not good. But other than that, I would give this a 6 out of 10. It's definitely above average, but there are a couple things that I would change, starting with the wallpaper. Overall, really good. It's good. Next up, we have someone that a lot of you guys might recognize from some of my videos. Raze, aka Zasaria. So he is a run and gun / versatile player, and wow, is this setup fire? Or is it just me? But Vex, you're only saying that he has a nice setup because he's in your videos. Bro, come on now, y'all. Be real here for a second, bro. This so far is the nicest setup in the video. Come on, like, PC build super clean. The RGB lighting is so good. I love the white on white. I love the RGB mouse pad. Everything matches. The only thing that doesn't match is the RGB in the mouse, but like the keyboard matches the purple setup he's got going on. And purple is actually my favorite RGB LED theme for gaming setup, so I'm probably being a little bit biased, but I feel like even if he changed the color, this would still be a banger. The PC is real clean, the desk is real clean, the whole setup that he has going is real clean. He is missing some things, like he could use a microphone arm for one, and he should really get to mounting those monitors because it looks kind of weird with how far that monitor on the left is away from the right one. But overall, this setup hits different. He also sent it with different colors, like a rainbow type effect on it, and I do gotta say I do prefer the solid purple, but even with the rainbow effect, this setup is still hitting different. Kind of weird that he has LEDs like dragging down on the side of his wall, so I do think that's a little strange. The overall setup, I would probably give a 9, but because of some of the discrepancies that I have, like you know, the monitors being super far apart and the random line of LEDs going down his wall, I would probably give this an 8. I do think that if he were to fix a couple like these things here, this is a 10 out of 10 potential setup if he were to fix a lot of things that he has going on here, but this is probably an 8 out of 10 for me. Next up we have Cordials. He's a City player. I think the wallpaper that he's using in this setup is from JoJo's. I might be wrong, weeaboos, don't come at me. This is actually very similar to Ops' setup, just a laptop and a monitor. It looks like he's actually on PC though. I'm assuming he also probably has his console hooked up into the right monitor. This setup's not bad. It's definitely got more RGB than Ops' does, that's for one. And obviously he's connected to PC, which is how he has wallpaper engine on both wallpapers. But I think I'm still gonna give this a 5 out of 10. Yes, it is an upgrade from Ops', which I also gave a 5 out of 10, but there's still not a lot going on with the actual setup itself. There's no RGBs, there's no statues, there's no, you know, cool mouse pads, which of course, none of this stuff is needed to have a nice setup, but I mean, his cable management also is not really all there. This setup is not terrible. 5 out of 10 is pretty average. I do like the wallpaper engine, that's pretty nice, but overall it's a decent setup. Would I give it a 6 out of 10? Maybe it could reach that level, but I don't think it competes with Snipers, and I gave Snipers a 6, so I think 5 is where I'm gonna stay for this setup. So next we have Zestia, and I don't even know what happened to his setup. I don't even know why he sent this to me. Like, bro, what happened? Did the rumbling happen in your house? Like, what's going on? When he sent me this video, I didn't even bother to ask him what area he played in because I was so astonished at the video that I blanked out. I'm not even gonna spend long on this setup, if you want to call it that. I guess I'll give this a 1 out of 10 for participating in the video at the very least. You know, and at least you're not on a TV, so I guess that's a plus. Next up, we have Verxilex. I think most people probably recognize this one, and she's a bass player, and oh my god. Now this right here is how you do setups. This is valid as hell. It has the perfect amount of lighting where you have enough RGB and LEDs set up in your room that it looks clean, but it also doesn't look tacky. I love the like built-in countertop that matches the whole setup with the bright white colors, the little iPad off in the corner. Everything about this is so clean. Your cable management is literally perfect. I love the TV off to the side, and then all your gaming monitor stuff is in the front. Everything about this setup is literally perfect. Even like the wires going inside of the desk, so that way you don't see the wires hanging off the back. Beautiful cable management. I love the LEDs that you have strapped to the back of the TV for that nice like neon blue chill vibe that you have going on with this room. However, I am gonna have some nitpicks of my own. Like, first off, the fact that you have a wireless charging dock for PlayStation, it should always be wired. Guys, I don't know why you guys buy these, like, really. Instead of swapping out controllers, stay wired. You get better latency too when you're wired in on a controller. Second, why do you have a PlayStation pulled up on the TV on the left And then you also have a PlayStation pulled up on the monitor on the right. Like, do you just have two different PlayStations? Then you just swap between games? I don't really understand that. Another thing as well is that the monitor looks a little strange overlapping the laptop. Now you probably, you know, most of the time have that laptop closed, but it seems like there's really no room on the desk for that laptop to be there, but it's still nice. And another thing as well, this is just me personally, I would change the wallpaper that you have on those monitors. Yes, that wallpaper is super clean. It's really nice, but it doesn't really match the whole setup theme that you have. I mean, your theme is like a nice baby blue, and then you have like demon red samurai monitors. It's nice, but it doesn't really match the theme that you're going for, in my opinion. And once again, I have to mention this on everyone's setup, I guess. Please, guys, when you buy a keyboard or buy a mouse, download the software where you can manage it. You can change the colors of your keyboards without them being random RGB. You could set the color of that keyboard to baby blue like the rest of the room. It takes 2 seconds. I don't know why you guys don't do that. Other than that though, I'm giving this setup a 9 out of 10. This is like beyond my expectations of what a GTA setup would look like. This setup is damn near perfect. Like, this is almost a 10 out of 10. I would have given this a 10 out of 10 if it wasn't for a couple nitpicks. This setup is the nicest one in this video so far, even over Ray's. Now we have Backdoor Gang with his rainbow RGB setup with the Akaza wallpaper engine, which is pretty fire. It's a double monitor setup. This is actually not that bad. I do kind of like it, and usually I don't like rainbow setups, but something about this one just works. Maybe it's the blend with the wallpaper, how it's rainbow with Demon Slayer. I don't know, I kind of actually like it. This one's really not much to say. It's a very short video, so I'm going to give this one a 6 out of 10. Next we have Fraudulent Beach, and I actually really like this setup. Okay, I know there's nothing fancy, there's nothing amazing about this setup, but this just reminds me of playing games when I got home as a kid. Like, this is so, I can tell that you are definitely underage and you live with your parents, because this entire setup screams coming home early from school and just gaming the night away. This is a very nostalgic looking setup. It's taking every ounce of power in my body to not remove points from your setup for being a Back 4 Blood player. God, that game was trash. But in all seriousness, I would probably give this setup a 5 out of 10. It's not amazing, but it's got that nostalgic factor that I do really like. Another RGB rainbow setup from Accurate1X. He's a bass player. I gotta be honest, I don't know how you guys play like this without getting a headache. I feel like with all those rainbow flashing RGBs in my face 24/7, I would really start to get a headache. I do like it, and that Rick and Morty poster is probably the coolest thing in this video that has nothing to do with technology. I also like the fact that you have a galaxy lamp. You have like the stars and the nebula on your ceiling. That's a really nice touch. A lot of people forget that. Definitely, when you're making a setup, make sure that the ceiling gets some love too. Don't just put everything on the walls. This setup is pretty nice. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I don't think it's, you know, mind-blowing, but there are some really cool things about this setup that do put it above average. But at a 7, I would expect it to be a little more crazy. So next up we have AJVX's setup, and this is my guy, and he didn't even want to be in this video, but I kind of peer pressured him into being in this video. Sorry, AJ. He's a bass player, and bro, I'm sorry, AJ, bro, but your setup is a real struggle, bro. With the old 1984 fucking hand-me-down grandmother dresser that you play on. But he surprisingly, he's actually pretty good at bass, and that's coming from someone who always says everybody is trash that's not an Ilex. And no, he is not an Ilex member. So he's actually good with this setup somehow, surprisingly. Obviously, I can't rate this setup anything high whatsoever. So I'm going to give it probably like a 3 out of 10 because at least it's clean. It's not dirty, other than the fact that his wall is all torn up. But this setup shows that you don't need to spend thousands of dollars to be good on the game. Now we have a beach player named Zervi. Now, you could have at least done a little bit of cleaning up for this video, my man. I mean, it wouldn't have killed you. I mean, I guess in a way, when you leave garbage and drinks and cups all over your desk, it shows the authenticity, because that's probably what it looks like most of the time that you're actually playing. But knowing that potentially thousands of people could see this video and you just decided not to clean it up, that's you know, very gutsy. Your cable management is pretty out there. It's pretty wild. What can I say that's like positive? I mean, at least everything's organized. You know where everything is. And at least you have your priorities straight by buying a PC and keyboard before you set your room up with RGB. I can definitely tell that this is a work in progress setup, so I'm not going to go crazy on you about it. And I can also tell that you're definitely a kid. This is clearly a kid setup. So I am going to give this a 3 out of 10. I do think that it's on AJ's level. Although AJ's was super basic, you know, this is also very basic. You know, it's just a monitor with a PlayStation and a computer. Now, basic doesn't mean bad at all. It's just that there could be some serious improvements, especially when you're leaving moldy food out in cups and your wire management is crazy. 3 out of 10 is not bad. It's, you know, it could be 1 out of 10, like the guy that sent me a literally broken setup. I do respect that you did have your priorities straight though by buying a console and a PC before you set up lighting in your room. And the Jordan sticker on the PlayStation, man, I mean, why? Like, this setup gets a 3 out of 10 from me. There's definitely some improvements that could be made, and I would love for you to show me what this setup looks like when it's fully done. Oh my god. Oh my, what is this? Next up, we have Essie's, aka Sarah, as some people might know her. Now, I'm pretty sure she's a beach player because she used to be in my girlfriend's crew, and I think that's what she used to play. But none of that even matters because this setup is divine. The color palette is immaculate. The monitor mounting is literally perfect. The whole keyboard, everything about the controller, the neon sign. I love the witch style rug. It reminds me of like Wednesday or the Addams Family. This is so nice. I love the little dresser with the hearts carved into it. Everything about this setup screams, I know what I'm doing. And if the setup wasn't good enough for your eyeballs, look at this PC build. This is amazing. I can tell that you had to have had this professionally done. There's no way you put this PC together yourself. And if you did, this is very impressive. I'm speechless. I don't know what to say about this PC build. Like the heart, like it's great. Honestly, I can't even put into words how good this setup is. I feel like this setup has very cool electronic things like the neon sign, the keyboard, the PC build is amazing. Everything about the setup is amazing. And I do think it could be improved. I don't think it's a perfect setup. So I'm going to give this setup a 9 out of 10 like I did Verxalex, because I think Verxalex has more of a mood in her room. And you can definitely tell that the structure of her room is where the setup comes from, where this one is more about the placement of very cool looking items and lighting done very well. So yeah, this gets a 9 out of 10 from me. Amazing job, Sarah. So I have actually played on this setup quite a few times because this is my girlfriend's setup. So, she definitely cleaned it up for this video. Yeah, I noticed what you did, Goofy. You definitely cleaned it up, but we're still gonna look at it as if I don't know anything about it. So let's break it down. So we have her dog tapestry, which is very is very interesting for her gaming setup. She's also got energy drinks off to the left side. I see she tried to keep the authenticity with her energy drink cans. At least she didn't clean those up. She's running on a BenQ monitor, which obviously is pretty good for gaming. And let me tell you about this chair, bro. This chair hurts my booty cheeks. Every single time that I go to her house, bro, that is what I dread the most, is sitting in that chair. The little fluffy fur pillow thing she has on it definitely helps, but my booty's too thick to be in that little chair. Her mic, she does need a microphone arm. So I know that when she ordered the microphone, there was an option to get an arm, but she didn't know the difference until it had arrived. So she kind of got, you know, played on that one. She's also got a laptop and some other things. This is a very basic setup. Obviously, it looks better when the lights are turned off. And I know that she actually recently upgraded the setup. So this picture is actually outdated. But now she has like neon planets hanging around her room. Her newer setup would probably be a 6 or 7 out of 10. But the setup that's in this video here, I'm going to give a solid 6 out of 10 because it's not boring. She does have the Galaxy lamp, which is super cool. She's got the PlayStation neon sign, which is also very nice. She's got tapestry. There's definitely some character to the setup. It's not just a computer. So this is a 6 out of 10 for me. Nice job, goofball. So next up, we have Farhan. He's a face-to-face player, which those of you guys that don't know, it's basically just run and gun. It's another version of run and gun. And this setup is both boring and also interesting at the same time. It's so weird. Like, I do like the over shelves that you have over the desk. That is super unique. I can't tell if that's a part of the house that you live in or if you set that up yourself. I do really like it, but I can also tell that you definitely live with family because in your gaming setup, I don't know why you'd have pictures of your family members. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's so cute and all, but it just seems kind of odd to have in your gaming setup along with a toolbox on the floor. This kind of seems like your like storage closet and you were just like, you know what, I'm gonna throw a PS5 in here with a monitor. But it's nice, it's not bad. And one thing that's really unique about this setup to all the others is that you have a steering wheel mounted onto your desk, which is super unique compared to everyone else's setup. I do like the all white setup that you have going. It doesn't really go well with the black and blue chair and the brown desk, but it's pretty nice. I also noticed as well that you have marathon stickers posted on your wall. At first I thought that these were license plates, but you told me that they were marathon stickers because you like to run, I guess. This setup is super nice, but also very basic. Once again, giving it a 5 out of 10. There's nothing crazy here, but it's also not sloppy or bad in really any way besides the cable management. Not bad. So next up we have Goomba. He is a city player, which is pretty rare considering that I feel like you guys are a dying breed. But let's just talk about your setup because none of that really matters. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Your cable management is really throwing me off. Like, not even saying this to roast you, even though, you know, I have been roasting some of your guys' setups, even though I probably don't mean to. But first off, dude, like, that's a fire hazard. Like, I'm just gonna say that is a fire hazard. That setup does not look safe at all. You have wires hanging all out the back of your PC down your desk. I just feel like I would just have anxiety with that. And you have like teddy bears and stuff on top of your PC. Your PS5 is inside of a shelf with no airflow. Like, I feel like I would have anxiety the entire time I lived inside this house because of this setup. Another thing as well, guys, do not ever put your PlayStation or Xbox or PC on the floor. Don't ever do that. I don't know why when companies advertise these, they put them on low shelves or on the floor. Do not do that, because if you have pets or there's dust in your house, the PlayStation will actually suck it up and overheat. It happens to PCs as well. The fans, the intake on the back will literally suck in dog fur, or it will suck in whatever is on your floor and it will ruin your console. Do not do this. That is a terrible idea. Once again, it is a fire hazard. You also have a charging brick on the floor on the left. Your whole setup just gives me anxiety. I gotta be honest with you. Aside from the glaring fire hazards that are in this setup, it seems like you just really do not care about your life. It is a nice setup. Surprisingly, it's nice. The monitors match. You have a dual monitor setup. You have an ARM. You have a keyboard. You have a PC. Everything here is not bad. It's just that, like, the way that you have it, there is no aerodynamics or airflow coming out of this room. It seems like you could potentially burn your house down with this setup. The setup is a little messy. You definitely should clean it, and you probably should have picked up the water bottles and the slipper underneath the desk before you took a picture. But I guess you wanted to be authentic like everyone else in this video that didn't clean their room. I'm gonna give this, I gotta give it a 4 out of 10. Do I want to give it a 4? No, I'm not gonna lean towards the 4. I'm gonna give it a, you make it so difficult because of this airflow problem. With the way that it is now, I would give it a 4. I'm sorry, like it could potentially be a safety hazard to you and everyone that lives in that house with the way that you have this set up. And this cable management is absolutely atrocious. I feel like if I were to walk into your room, I'd trip over a wire and knock the whole setup down. But if you were to clean it all up and you fix a lot of these issues, this could easily be like a 6 out of 10, because there's definitely some good things about the setup. It's just that, like, it seems like you really don't care about the house that you live in. All right, so off rip, you're an Xbox player, so you know I'm taking points away. I'm kidding. This is Atari. He's a bass player. And this setup is actually good. I mean, there's not really a whole lot to say about this. I like it. It's very basic. You don't really see a whole lot in the picture, so I'm not going to be like, you know, it's the greatest thing ever. But I like the colors. I like the dual monitor. From what I can see in the picture, that's really all I can comment on. I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10 from what I can see. 6 out of 10 being above average. Nice job. There's really nothing more to it. It's just a nice, clean, simple setup. Now we have Lusted Emotions, and he says that he's a car player, but I don't believe it. You're not playing me, bruh. I don't believe that someone named Lusted Emotions is a car meet player. Most likely you're some bass emo or a 1-0 player. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. You're definitely a tryhard in some aspect, but if we go with what you said you're a car meet player, so that's what we're gonna do. It's just a bit odd that a car meet player would be called Lusted Emotions, like you're emo or something, like a bass head. But anyways, let's just get to the setup. This setup is actually very nice. I can tell that you're from either Europe or Asia. You're definitely not from North America, that's for certain, because almost everything in this setup is foreign and it looks good. The lamp on the right, that glowing red, looks so tough. I love the little dragon. I actually really like this. I mean, I feel like the setup is all over the place, yet still works together in a way. It's very weird. You got the little limited edition Nissan Hot Wheels, and you have some international sports banner of all these different European and Asian countries on your wall. You have like I think that lamp might be Chinese. I might be wrong, but it looks like one of those like Chinese lanterns. I like this. It's different. It's very unique. This definitely screams you, totally. I would give this a 6 out of 10. It's not crazy. It's not wild. It's not anything whoa, but it's nice, honestly, and it's super unique. Never seen a setup like this before, so yeah. All right, bro, you're gonna have to run my ones on For Honor, because that's the first thing that I noticed when I saw this setup, and I'm not gonna let you disrespect me by thinking that, you know, you're the only GTA player that plays For Honor, so just let me know what's bracking. But in all seriousness though, here we have Dalen, and he is a beach player on Xbox. This is a very nice setup. It's super clean, super simple. I love the Minecraft potion. That right there is probably what stands out to me the most in this entire setup. I really, really like that. Like, that's something that I would actually probably put in my setup. It's so cool. Like the little enchanted water bottle. There's really not much to say about this setup. It's simple, it's clean, it's nice. You take care of it, clearly. This one I'm going to give a 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10, meaning it's average. It's not crazy. It's good. Now we have Poor Made with his couples setup. This is unique. It took me a while to notice it, but he told me that this is actually a setup for him and his girlfriend. And at first I was like, what? So you guys just play on one monitor and share a PS5? Until I realized that they actually face each other, because if you look on the other side, there's monitors in another chair. So this is actually a couples gaming setup, which is super awesome. I like it. There's really not much shown in the picture for me to comment on. I like the RGB speakers. I like the fact that it's a couple setup. That's pretty cool. But yeah, this photo doesn't show a lot for me to comment on. I know that he's a beach player, and this is a pretty good setup, so nice job. 5 out of 10 for your side, because I can't see your girlfriend, so I can't give you a number higher than that. I'm only going to be rating your side since it's in the picture. And Neat, the city player. Look at your setup now. Off rip. One thing that really stands out to me is the tiny mouse pad. I don't know how y'all be rocking with these little mouse pads, to be honest. Like, you can't even like move your mouse unless you don't use your PC for gaming, which is kind of weird because it's clearly a gaming PC. It's got RGB in it. But I don't know, maybe you just like playing on high sensitivity. Also, that wooden chair, like, oh my god, bro, I can literally feel my back snapping in half sitting at the game all day. But other than that, it is a nice setup. It's super simple. This dude gave us a full room tour with all these pictures. Probably a 5 out of 10. Yes, he does have a nice PC build, from what I can see anyway. And he does have a double monitor setup, but he doesn't really have anything flashy or standout-ish. It's a very clean setup. You can tell that he takes care of it, but it's just a regular gaming setup. And that's not bad. Not everything needs to be flashy. So yeah, 5 out of 10. Nice job, Neat. So I think we all know or have that one friend that doesn't actually play GTA competitive, but they're friends with all the competitive GTA players, and that is Deed. Apparently, he's actually a Call of Duty player. He is not a GTA player, but he's cool with the entire GTA Tryhard community. This setup is fire. This setup is really gas. Once again, the PC on the floor is a big no-no. We've already went over this with the previous setups, but this setup is so cool. The weird, like, rainbow effect that he has in his room, I think that's a galaxy lamp doing that. That is super cool. I love all the plushies scattered around the room. Like the giant duck teddy bear, like that is so awesome. I love the whole plushie thing that he has going on. The double monitors is super cool. The Jordans under the desk, that's a little tacky. I love the black PS5. I cannot address this enough. The black PS5, you have me considering making my PS5 black. Like, I never thought about making my PS5 black until I saw this. The black PS5 looks so sleek and nice. Overall, this setup is super cool. I love the Kaguya wallpaper engines. I love the RGB keyboard. I love the cherry blossom mouse. It's kind of weird that you have Vegeta with a stick up his butt, but we're not going to talk about that. You have the panda teddy bear. Everything about this is super comfortable and nice, and I don't know. I like it. I like the plushies. I like the RGB colors. I like it all. You even have a whiskey collection over to the left of like different alcohols. It's super cool. Yeah, I like this setup. It feels very personal. This feels like a man cave. I know it's super cringy to say that, but that's what it really feels like. This feels like your little hideaway corner in your house, and I really like it. I'm gonna give this a 7 out of 10. This is pretty good. And I don't really have a whole lot to comment on this setup in particular from Logan1X. He is a bass player, because it's literally just a monitor, keyboard, and controller. I also see your mouse, cool flower pot. There's literally nothing for me to say about the setup because you zoomed the camera in so much that I can't see anything. So I'm going to give this a 5 out of 10. From what I can see, it's clean, but I can't actually see the whole setup. So yeah. So Coney decided to actually send us the specs for his monitor. It's an MSI Optics AG32CQ. For those of you that don't know what that means, it basically just means very expensive. Can I also point out that this might be the smallest L-shaped desk I have ever seen in my life, along with the keyboards? Why do you have 2 keyboards? This is going to be the last time that I ask this question. Why do you guys have 2 keyboards? I guess one for console, one for PC, but it just doesn't make sense to me because you could just swap the adapter over whenever you needed to switch. But I see that you have an LED remote. I would recommend that you get the Govee LEDs, because if you go Govee, then you can control the LEDs from your phone without needing a remote. Not sponsored, by the way, just a pro tip. Once again, an Xbox is down on the floor in a little cabinet with barely any breathable space. It can also suck in pet hair, so I would not recommend this. Yeah, you have a fan in the way that probably cools it down a bit, but it still doesn't do much. This is nice. The desk is the smallest desk I think I've ever seen in my life. It looks like you actually built it yourself. The mat kind of flops off awkwardly, and I'd have some serious anxiety with how close those monitors are to the edge of the desk, but there's really no room for them to go anywhere. I would give this setup probably a 4 out of 10, because there are some things in this setup that I feel like could be corrected, and it seems like there's a lot of things you could do to give yourself a bit more room. Obviously the monitor is super fancy and nice, but we're talking a setup as a whole here, not just your monitor or its specifications. So yeah, 4 out of 10, not bad. Could be better, but last but not least, I should just clarify this now that I was sent this literally last minute. Like, as soon as this video was being uploaded, I ended up including it in at the very last second. So this can't be a part of the next segment, which is the best setups in the video, because that segment was already done. The whole video was done, and he sent me this last minute. But here we have Ending V's setup. He is a Beach AW player, and to be honest, if you had sent me this setup earlier when I made the announcement, you probably would have been in the top 5, because this setup is super clean. I love everything about this. There's nothing wrong with it besides the PlayStation being sideways and taking up a ton of space. But the RGB is very nice. The lighting is perfect. I love I think that's an iPad, but it's still almost like a triple monitor setup in a way. Everything about this is super clean. I can't spend too long on this because the video has to go up, so I'm giving this a 7 out of 10. If you had sent me it earlier, it probably would have been in the top 5, so nice. So before the video goes any further, I should just clarify one thing before the next part. I love and appreciate everyone's setups that have been sent in for this video. There is no right or wrong on whose setup is better. I just want to say that all of these numbers and ratings are my personal opinion. So just because I think a way about your setup doesn't mean that everyone else does. Now, this is what I was going to consider the winner round, where I basically took the best setups in the video, in my personal opinion, and put them all in here just to give them one last minute of appreciation, and then I'll tell you guys who my personal favorite setup is in the video. But I just wanted to take this quick minute and say that I appreciate everyone who sent their setups in, especially to be reviewed by a toxic community like GTA, where people are seeing your bedroom and seeing the things that you play with and seeing where your money is spent. So yeah, anyone who submitted their setup, you automatically have my respect for even being involved in this video, instead of being a side commenter who's probably playing on some box TV in their grandmother's basement. Number 5 goes to Jose and his Super Saiyan Dragon Ball setup. I love this setup. This is super cool. Now, obviously, there are a lot of things in the setup that I did say that I would change, but this is definitely a top 5 setup out of all the ones that were introduced into this video. I love it. I love it. I love it. And this is coming from someone who was a Dragon Ball hater for the longest period of time. But now, after watching it myself, I can't help but appreciate this setup even more. The Supreme stickers are still really cringy, but overall, the whole Goku and Vegeta and Dragon Ball theme that you have going here is so good. It's great, Jose. Top 5. Nice job. Number 4, we have Eruk. He is definitely in the top 5 of the best setups in this video. I love the Japanese aesthetic. The colors are so good together. I love the Akame ga Kill theme. The red and blues just look so great. Everything in this setup is so high quality and perfect. I love the cherry blossom mouse pad, the whole Japanese aesthetic. Easily, this setup earns a top 5 on this list. Very nicely done, Eric. This is more of what we need in the community. This is awesome. Number 3 goes to Raze, aka Zasaria, with his super clean white modern purple setup. What can I say about this other than clean? That's the only word that describes this setup. Everything about this setup is clean. Obviously, I did list some things that would help it improve, but absolutely phenomenal. Definitely deserving of the top 3. That white and purple is just super clean, super sick. Nice job. And at number 2, we have Sarah's setup. Now, for those of you that watched the entire video, you might know which one I have as number 1. This one may have came as a surprise to you because Sarah's setup is amazing. It's literally a couple steps away from being a 10 out of 10 setup and could have easily been the number 1 spot. Now, keep in mind that this top 5 is just my preference, what I like. Right? So honestly, this could all be reorganized and redone by anyone, because I know there's a lot of people that have probably fallen in love with this setup. Sarah, this setup is awesome. The color palette is amazing. The neon lights is awesome. Everything about the setup is perfect. There was just one setup that I thought was more something I was into personally. And you guys already know what it is. At number 1, we have Verxalex's insane room gaming setup. So I know that some people might switch out Sarah with Verxalex and Verxalex with Sarah, and that's fine. Everyone's entitled to their opinions. But me personally, This room looks amazing. You can tell that this setup is not just a desk and monitors. It is the room itself. It is the whole ambiance. You are getting the full experience in this room. Like, I don't know if she did this herself. Like, this is like unspeakable levels of nice. The whole way that she has everything set up. Yeah, she doesn't have a PC, but this is not, hey, look how rich I am. Okay, this is rating your setup, your ambiance, your you know, your whole vibe, your mood. And this for me is unreal. When the only bad thing that I can say about your setup is the fact that your monitors don't match your lights. That's how you know your setup is good, because I don't have anything bad to say. One click and you can change the picture on that monitor to something that matches the color of your room. That's the only negative thing I have to say. You have flawless cable management. The glossy white is perfect. The cabinet spacing is amazing. Amazing RGB on the keyboard. You even went out of your way to dual mount your monitors to be perfectly positioned. I love the little cabinet off to the side, the iPad, the whole aesthetic vibe and ambiance of this room brings the whole setup together to be, in my opinion, the best setup in this video. And that will wrap up this super long video. Make sure you guys comment down below whose setup you guys think is the best in the GTA community from this video. My opinion was Verxilex, but I think a lot of people would be rooting for Team Sarah. Both of them have astonishing setups, and who knows, maybe you guys liked one of the setups that weren't in my top 5. All of these setups are amazing in their own individual ways, and yeah, that's about it, guys. I'll see you. Congratulations to Verxilex on having definitely one of the coldest setups on GTA. And thank you to everybody that was not in the top 5 for submitting your videos. I plan on doing more content like this in the future to bring you guys into my videos. So stay subscribed. Bye-bye.